Good evening, America. This is William Burgundy reporting for Marquette News 6. Today we have 4 former Facebook employees. They are here to enlighten us on the corporate culture of the Palo Alto company and how secretive the founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg really is. Here to introduce them, Melvin McGee, formerly from the marketing department.
What's up, Marquette?
Lee Rhyme, consulting. Alexandria Martin, and Paul Johnson, a former junior executive. Now, Melvin, within the company, how much power does Mark actually have? Is there anyone that really challenges his authority, or is there anyone that he really kind of has a confidant with?
Well, I mean, Mark Zuckerberg is Facebook. It's his baby. That's what he's created. And when it comes to having power, I feel like Mark has essentially all of it. You know, he does listen to ideas and he does listen to other people, but when it's all said and done and it comes down to making a decision, it's Mark's decision. And you know, people might say that's oh, he's not listening to other people. He will listen to people, but unless you really have some groundbreaking stuff to give him, he's really not going to take much time to really listen to what you have to say.
So is there any process, or does he specifically go in and ask certain people, or do people just kind of come to him with ideas? Or is it just...
I mean, he has his meetings that he calls about certain problems, because I mean, problems arise on Facebook, anytime you're dealing with, a company on the internet, there's always technological problems, and maybe a big problem sometimes we've had at Facebook was, privacy issues and different stuff like that. But really, it's just pretty much just whenever Zuck feels like there's time to make a decision, then he'll call, or sometimes he'll just make a decision straight, flat out on his own.
So now, you said that he has that supreme power in the company. In the last 2 years, what does he specifically, do you have any specific examples of things that, during your time there that he did?
Well, if you're familiar with Facebook and what they're going through right now, is that they're trying to incorporate an email system into Facebook along with their instant messaging system, along with their also like their message system. And by essentially having email connected with Facebook, and so when you have email and social networking together, you can pretty much put all Gmail and Yahoo Mail and Hotmail, they're pretty much going to become extinct if this Facebook mail goes through. And Google and Gmail is having a big problem with it right now. They're really not liking it. So they're not letting Facebook users, Facebook Mark isn't letting Facebook users upload their stuff to Gmail, and then Gmail is reacting by saying, and Google is saying, we're not going to let you import, or let Gmail people import it onto Facebook. So I mean, when you have someone like Mark Zuckerberg that's able to challenge the authority of Google, who's maybe one of the biggest companies in the world and most influential technological companies in the world, it goes to show you how much power Zuck has. Facebook right now has over 365 million users. If you took how many users that was...
That's actually over 5 million now. That was last year. I mean, you missed a little bit since you weren't there, I would assume, but according to my numbers. Right?
Okay, so I'm a little off, I know, I'm a little old, but... But if you took how many users that would be, and you made those users a country, that would be the 3rd biggest country in the world, and technically Mark is the president of that company. So I mean, that goes without saying. I mean, he has so much legitimate power that he's taken on Google. So I mean, what more do you have to say than that?
Interesting. Now, Alexandria, Melvin has described him as an extremely powerful leader, but in what ways does he motivate Facebook employees?
He has sets a high need for achievement for all his employees. He expects them to go above and beyond their abilities. He sets pretty strict deadlines and doesn't give them a lot of time to get work done, but we're pretty overwhelmed with how much we get accomplished in such a little time that we have to get what he expects out of us. He wants us to pretty much strive for new things that aren't seen yet, but a lot of our motivation comes from our feedback that we get from him as a leader.
Now, do you find that effective?
It's very effective because feedback makes you more motivated to get more accomplished and to fix your problems. It actually pushes us to get more accomplished, because we know that a lot of our rewards and quality products come from what we have accomplished with our work.
So you would agree he's a very effective leader?
Yes.
Very interesting. I've heard reports that Zuckerberg is a servant leader. In your opinion, Lee, would those reports be accurate?
I would disagree. Serving others is not a priority of Mark's. The company always comes first. He's about Facebook. He's not about his employees. He's not about the users. He's not even really about himself. It's all about the company. And he's absolutely more task-oriented than relationship-oriented. So in terms of a servant leader, he doesn't, I mean, he'll listen to other people, as Curtis was saying. He listens to opinions, but he's going to go with his decision. And he's not going to necessarily give credit where credit is due. He doesn't reward individual accomplishments, and he doesn't empathize either. So he doesn't really view his employees so much as people as just a part of this big vision of his, which maybe can cause problems to arise. And there he just doesn't have the self-awareness to try to prevent problems from arising, but he just ends up doing damage control. So his servant leadership skills are lacking.
So he just tries, like Alexander was saying, he just tries to motivate people, but he's just not very good at connecting.
I don't think he's very. It's not his goal to become friends with his employees or connect with them. It's his goal to develop Facebook, and that is it, and that's the one thing he's concerned about.
So you and Melvin have kind of given this isolation type view of Facebook. What would you say, and that he doesn't really care about his employees or his users or anything like that, what would you say about him going on the Oprah Winfrey show a couple months ago and donating $100 million to the New York public school system? Why would he make such a move if he doesn't really care about anyone but himself?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes him look like he's out there to serve others, and he wants people to believe that, but the timing of that was clearly something just to save face, as the unflattering movie The Social Network came out just shortly after that, and he knew that it was not going to make him look good, so he was quickly trying to do something that would make him look good. I mean, he wasn't giving tons of money before that.
So it's just a simple business decision, you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything's about Facebook. Maybe, I guess nobody knows exactly what he was thinking, but it seems pretty clear.
So now, would you consider him unethical? I mean, we know he's very powerful, but does he use his power in the wrong ways, or what can you say about his ethics if he is an ethical man?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest ethical issue regarding Facebook is, as it was portrayed in The Social Network as well, and that might have been an exaggeration, but that he stole the idea from his Harvard classmates. He was supposed to be doing code for them, and they said that he straight up stole the idea, and there have been lawsuits going on ever since the beginning of Facebook with that. And then in terms of privacy settings, I mean, it's clear that his ethical behavior is not in line with his values. He's a very private person. You don't hear a lot about him, but yet he's just stealing privacy from everybody. He's been compared to Big Brother, a term from 1984, George Orwell's book. He was even quoted as saying that the age of privacy is over, and he said that society is causing Facebook to go that way, but it could be argued that Facebook is causing society to become less private.
It's a very interesting point. One thing I also want to bring up is he's now in a relationship, right? And you see in the age of TMZ and all these, reporting, he's very private. No one knows much about him. We know he grew up in New Jersey. He went to school at the prestigious Phillips Exeter Academy in Exeter, New Hampshire, and then he went on to Facebook, and that's kind of all we know is his business-type degree. But what would you say about his Facebook kind of being more closed than just the general settings as well?
Yeah, I mean, clearly he values his own personal privacy. We know probably anything in the company itself is private, and he likes to just keep things as his own company, and so it seems a little contradictory that he keeps basically stealing tons of people's privacy without them even realizing. I mean, it's almost scary.
Now, we've heard a lot of different things about Facebook, but one thing that really should be emphasized is how fun of a company it is. Don't you think so, Paul? I mean, most people wouldn't be wearing, the casual dress that you guys are here today, It's very relaxed. Is that true? Is it a fun place to be? Is it or is it just extremely stressful living in the Palo Alto area of just high tech business?
No, I mean it's a fun place to work. When it comes down to it, you enjoy working there. There's a lot of stress that can go along with it, but just like the web page, which I'm sure you've seen, the setting of Facebook and the whole culture of the organization is just relaxed. You know, you can get fine dining meals cooked by the chef.
Video games?
Yeah, you can play video games, ping pong, all that type of stuff. There's hardly any actual office type settings, but couches, lounges, that type of setting. And that's the culture of Facebook. Just relax.
Now, how does that affect the cultural values of domination, and how does it kind of affect the bottom line of Facebook? You know, it's constantly growing. We've seen, the users that we talked about earlier now all the way up to 500 million. We've also seen Mark's net worth go all the way up to $6.9 billion. How does he still have a relaxed video game, hangout kind of type atmosphere, but still, provide the motivation like Alexandria said?
Well, the culture of Facebook, like I said, with it being so laid back, you'd think that they wouldn't get much done, but Mark Zuckerberg, as one of my colleagues has said to me before, he could upgrade any single role in the company at any time. That's going from the bottom all the way up to upper level management. So in a way there is a little bit of a fear factor, and so even though the culture is laid back, you know that you have to work as hard as you can.
Because the top want to work for such an innovative company. Is that
exactly.
right?
So